With this glimpse of the dawning rays of our rising unity consciousness, let us now consider when and how the first major events might unfold that will bring us to such a profound experience of oneness with everything, that we will come to the full realization of every level of creation. For it is our intention that by presenting the potential dates when things might unfold, that when people see some of these first events actually happen, it will enable them to believe that the material world is on the verge of collapse, and thereby inspire them to let go of their attachment to it. And in a world where so many have no idea that these changes are coming, we would encourage those who have awakened to the whats and whys of events to resist the urge to focus primarily on how one may save themselves, and to consider instead what one may do to help others. For if one is consumed with the need to save themselves through these days of great change and challenge, they will be driven primarily by the energy of fear. Whereas if one is able to turn their focus towards helping others, they will change their motivation and therefore their vibration from one of fear to one of love. And it will be this love for all and faith in the divine purpose of all that is occurring that enables one to move through all of the challenges of the coming days in relative grace and ease. That said, there are some interesting indicators revealed in Kalaman's research of the Mayan calendar that show the potential dates when things might unfold. Of particular interest are the periods known as the fifth day and the fifth night that occur on each step of the pyramid. For it is understood that during the fifth day of each underworld, we typically experience a global event that marks a great leap forward towards our deeper understanding of the consciousness being learned on that level. And past trends show that typically the fifth night brings a great global challenge, which then gives the collective mind the opportunity to put the lesson it has just learned into practice. Looking at events that occurred during the fifth day and night over the past few steps on the pyramid, we can see that during the national underworld, the positive values and teachings of Christ were followed in the fifth night by the appropriation and perversion of those teachings during the Dark Ages. While during the planetary underworld, the fifth day brought us World War I, along with the automation of industry and the expansion of our perception of reality through Einstein's theory of relativity. The end of the fifth day was marked by the beginning of the Great Depression, which then continued through the fifth night, accompanied by World War II and the use of the first nuclear weapons against Japan. During the galactic underworld, the fifth day saw a profound shift in consciousness towards peace and harmony, with a tremendous increase in the number of spiritual groups sprouting up all over the world. While the fifth night was marked by the 2008 collapse of the American and European economies, which now brings us to our current step on the pyramid, known as the universal underworld. Based on this understanding of the unique energies and experiences that typically accompany the fifth day and the fifth night, one could expect that the major shifting of consciousness and world events would begin during these periods. Thus it is possible that during the fifth day, which extends from July 31st to August 18th, 2011, we could see a creative expression of unity consciousness manifested through an event as spectacular as the presentation of some major medical or technological breakthrough created to benefit mankind. It is also possible that during this time we could see the beginning of another Great Depression, as we saw at the end of the fifth day of the planetary underworld. This is a very likely possibility, which could be catalyzed by the flagging faith in the U.S. markets, caused by the American having recently reached its $14.3 trillion debt ceiling, which could result in a crippling of the American economy, which could then fully collapse during the fifth night, which extends from August 18th to September 5th. During the fifth night, it is very possible that an economically fragile America could be hit by another staged terrorist attack, which would be the final blow that causes the collapse of the American economy and sends the economies of the world into a downward spiral. And just as we saw during the fifth day and night of the planetary underworld, the world's slump into another Great Depression would be followed by the start of another Great War, that of World War III. The dates of the events following the fifth day and night, including the fake alien invasion, 3 days of darkness, and the major earthquakes caused by the passing of Comet Elenin are impossible to guess apart from saying that they will probably happen near the end of September. For it is our belief that things will occur faster than anyone can imagine, as hinted by the age-old prophecy that the end will come like a thief in the night. And for this reason, we would encourage all of our viewers to use the decline of the economy or any major event that might occur during the fifth night as the sign by which they will choose to let go of their attachments to the material world and its systems, and to leave the cities and return to nature, where the mountains, waters, and trees will support their return to the original way mentioned in the Hopi prophecies. For we are told in the prophecy of the blue and red Kachinas that life will be so bad in the cities that many will choose to leave this plane, some in whole groups, and that only those who return to the values of the old ways will be able to find peace of mind. For it is in returning to a simple life with and upon the earth, amongst her forest and mountains, that we shall find relief from the madness that will be all around us. That said, it is essential to understand that we are always exactly where we are meant to be, when we are meant to be there. And even if one cannot make it out of the city, it is important to remember that one can always connect to the earth and its elements by turning their thoughts to a glass of water, or the ground beneath their feet, or a tree, a lit candle, or even a light breeze. And so with this understanding of when events might unfold, let us consider how the increasing intensity of world events has been divinely orchestrated to bring all of us to such a profound experience of oneness that we would come to the full realization of every level of creation by October 28th, as suggested in Kallman's research of the Mayan calendar. According to Kallman's work, the focus for learning during the ninth wave from March 9th to October 28th, 2011 is unity consciousness. And therefore it is thought by some that the increasing intensity of events that are set to unfold in the next few months will move us through progressively deeper experiences of unity and oneness, which would peak sometime around October 28th, when the Earth will return into the higher vibrational electromagnetic field of the purifier. For many, this process will be experienced as an expansion of consciousness, which extends from the personal to the universal, where one's first experience of unity might occur through a realization or connection that happens within oneself. Next, an increase in the intensity of world events, such as food shortages and the collapse of the economy, could inspire people to expand their understanding of unity beyond the self, by encouraging them to seek out other like-minded friends and individuals with whom they might share resources and understanding that could help them meet the increasing demands of the moment. A further increase in the intensity of the global situation caused by massive earthquakes and other global disasters could cause a further expansion of the concept of unity by inspiring people to extend their caring beyond people in their own social sphere, resulting in a genuine caring and collaboration amongst strangers that comes from the realization that we are all in this together. Further intensification of the global situation through events as extreme as a fake alien invasion and the complete collapse of world systems could then cause some to perceive the formation of a new world order as the ultimate expression of unity, while others will see ultimate unity as the mobilization of the world's citizens in a revolution against such a system. However, as people across the face of our broken and battered planet rise to the peak of polarity, with the forces of the New World Order grasping for control, and the masses rising in revolt, the Earth's return into the higher vibrational field of the purifier around October 28, 2011, will bring the collective mind to a fully realized experience of unity consciousness, which will show the world that true unity is not the desire to gather large masses of like-minded people to support or oppose an idea, but rather true unity is the soul's realization that all is one already. For the passing of the purifier with its phenomenal gravitational and electromagnetic forces will cause such intense shifting of our outer and inner experiences of reality that we will have one of two choices. We may choose to see ourselves as separate from the events we are experiencing, which could rise to such a peak of intensity that our increasingly fearful desire for things to change would drive us insane. Or we could choose with love and faith to surrender our personal will to the divine will of the Tao, and realize that all that we are experiencing is a projection of our minds, and that it is divine. And in accordance with the divine wisdom given to us through the Tibetan Book of the Dead, we will see that recognition is simultaneous with liberation. For just as the soul's journey through the bardos encourages one to recognize that everything we experience is a divine projection of our mind, so too are we urged to realize the same during our brief journey through the material world. Although such spiritual seeking is met with little success in today's world, because of the extreme difficulty in reaching integration in a vibrational field that is as psychically polluted as that of the Earth, during the revolving course of the cosmic cycles, there arise periods when great redeeming energies return to the Earth, allowing the process of integration to proceed more easily and rapidly. All around the world there exist ancient cultures and wisdom keepers whose texts and teachings reveal knowledge of such periods having happened in the past, while some even hold prophecies telling of the impending return of these forces of salvation. However, here again it is essential to understand that this returning Redeemer is not a physical personality of majestic stature, residing somewhere outside the dense material world, but is essentially an impersonal divine unifying consciousness, manifesting itself as light, love, and wisdom in a field of cosmic rays emanating from the center of our galaxy, via the purifier. Thus the return actually refers to the Earth's cyclic re-entry into the purifier's higher vibrational field, at which point we are anointed by its divine light and influence. And it is because of this divine anointing that the return is widely referred to as the return of Christ, which, stemming from the Greek word Christos, means the anointed one. Thus we may see that Christ consciousness is not exclusively available to Jesus, but is available to every human being who experiences the infinite, changeless reality that lies at the core of each one of us. For just as the Christ through Jesus displayed only faith and love during experiences of great suffering, so too will all those who wish to follow Christ's narrow path be urged to face the challenges of the coming months with faith, love, and wisdom, willingly sacrificing their fears and attachments to the self, so that they may open themselves up to the fully expanded realization that all is one and divine. For in this period of purification, the mirror of truth will be held up for all to see at last, what we have become and which master we have truly served. And when humanity is left with no other choice but to face the truth and ourselves in utter honesty, to look, to see, and to weep in genuine repentance, then can love open our hearts and reveal to us the way of true devotion and holiness. It is thus through humble surrender that each person is given the opportunity to hasten their own spiritual growth and simultaneously transition into a bright new era. So how might our interaction with the purifier bring us to such a profound experience of oneness with everything, that we would come to the full realization of every level of creation by October 28, 2011? The answer to this may be summed up in one word: vibration. For if NASA's information suggesting that Comet Elenin is or is being followed by a supermassive brown dwarf star is true, then we will be greatly affected by the extremely high vibrations of its electromagnetic field upon passing, whose frequencies will be so great that some people say they could alter our experience of reality by raising our vibrations to the point where we will experience other dimensional planes, as evidenced in the Hopi prophecy of the blue and red Kachinas, where it says, "When the purifier comes, many things will begin to occur that will not make sense, for reality will be shifting back in and out of the dream state. Things unseen will be felt very strongly. There will be many strange beasts upon the earth in those days, some from the past and some that we have never seen. The nature of mankind will appear strange in these times we walk between the worlds, and we will house many spirits even within our bodies. After a time we will again walk with our brothers from the stars and rebuild this earth, but not until the purifier has left his mark upon the universe. That said, it is widely accepted in both the realms of science and spirituality that the human body, comprised mostly of water, is a conductor of sound, light, and information, all of which travel through our bodies as vibrations. Aware of this, we may now imagine that as the higher vibrations of the purifier move through us, they will cause our bodies to resonate with their frequency. Thus, as our vibrations rise and match the never-before experienced frequency levels of the purifier, we will be able to perceive higher levels of the electromagnetic spectrum, at which point we will be able to perceive all of the sounds, images, and entities that exist within our newly achieved range of frequency. Vibrating at this level, the spirits of the dead may be seen and heard, rising to meet the coming dawn, as humanity expands its senses and consciousness to perceive the forgotten fifth element of ether, that which connects us all. Here, too, we may perceive the parallel realms of the astral planes and share encounters with mythical beings, all of whom will attend us and the rest of humanity as our increasing frequency brings us all closer to a collective experience of oneness. As we reach the peak of frequency, the voices of others that we have begun to hear in our heads will rise in numbers and climax at the point when we hear all the thoughts of creation and experience all actions as if they were our own. So too may it seem like all the events of these lives are happening at once, and that all places are this place. As one may imagine, this expanded perspective of oneness could be quite an intense experience. And for those who choose to hold on to their knowledge of what is and is not possible, such events will threaten to shatter their psyches, as every sense is simultaneously overloaded. Thoughts of good or evil will give rise to those of their dualistic opposites and attract like energies that further threaten the traveler's ability to stay safe and sane. And here we will have a choice, to either clutch to the banks of that raging river and be dashed against the rocks, or to simply let go and surrender to the roar and the flow. Some will try to hide from this experience. Some will try to escape it. Some will welcome it. Some will recognize it. And some will have known all their lives that the end would be like this, exactly like this. As the truth of oneness, followed by divine love, returns to our ailing planet, those who love the truth and who are therefore consecrated to serving the truth without compromise or self-concern will greatly rejoice at the shattering of the illusion of separation. And when at long last humanity is awakened to its oneness with the earth and all living things, we will raise our voices as one and join the eternal song of the universe. Have faith, for we are awakening as one.
looking through the eye that's looking back at you. Ooh. Ooh.
Excellent. Just do it again.